time I close my eyes.
Yes, guys, welcome. This is the call-in show special. It's a chance for you guys to call me up on here, right now, and let me know everything you want to talk about that you can't get in the live chat. Anything you want to talk about, Liverpool related, whatever. Any questions you want to ask. I've got Cav on the way as well. I think I've got Ensman on the way as well to be my right-hand men tonight, taking your questions, guys. I hope you're all well. I know it's a football night. I totally forgot Man City and Chelsea are playing. I thought I'd plan this call-in show for a Thursday night because there won't be no football on Thursday night. But no. City and Chelsea have to be fucking playing, don't they? Well, fuck City and Chelsea. Don't watch that shit. What is the point? We're landing in sixth in the position at the moment. The result don't really matter. Who gives a shit? I don't care. You guys stay with me and we're going to talk about Liverpool Football Club and have a great big moan. Why not? Let's have a great big moan about Liverpool Football Club and get right into it, guys. Get right stuck into it. We've got a lot of chat about it, guys. Obviously, we've got the Jurgen Klopp. We've got the Jurgen Klopp issue at Liverpool Football Club right now. Some fans want him out. Some fans want him out. Some fans are happy with him. Some fans, like me, just want Jurgen Klopp to do a little bit better than he's doing right now. Him and his coaching staff have been abysmal this season, and not enough people want to admit it. FSG, Oh, you're out of here. Dog shit. Goodbye. See you later. Need to go. Bye-bye. Need new owners in. Take over. Yeah? We've got lots to talk about. Virgil van Dijk's injury. Apparently, he might not be fit for Real Madrid, which is like the 24th of February or whatever it is. It's only the 6th of January today. That's a long time out. How long out is Virgil? We don't know because the club don't tell you fuck all. Oh, Virgil will be out a week or two. Yeah, miss a couple of games. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, miss a couple of games. Yeah, he's out for about 8 weeks. Yeah, it's more than a couple of games, Jurgen. It's more than a couple of games. Yeah, so we've got the Virgil situation to talk about. Is it actually a blessing in disguise? Is Virgil not playing actually a blessing in disguise? Because maybe without Virgil van Dijk in the team for a bit of a time, we won't play the ridiculous high line that we're playing right now. That's messing our team up. Maybe Klopp goes back. Maybe it helps. Maybe it gives Virgil a little bit of rest as well. Maybe it gives Virgil a little bit of rest as well, because there's no doubt about it. Klopp makes sure he plays every single week. Bad knee injury and all. He's like, no. It's not a worry, Virgil. It's not a worry. You're a fucking robot. You got to play every week. Cup game, yeah, Virgil, you'll play. League game, yeah, Virgil, you'll play. Champions League game, yeah, Virgil, you'll play. Boss, can I have a rest? Nah, no rest for you, Virgil. You're fucking playing. So yeah, maybe it's time for Virgil to have a little chill out on the sidelines. He's injured. Is the injury because of Jurgen Klopp's tactics? That's for you guys to decide when you call in a bit. I'm going to wait for Cav and Ends to turn up. Once they turn up, we'll get the phone lines open, guys, and get you guys in here. So today, what we're going to do, when you come in, you'll go have like 3 or 4 minutes to have your say, guys. Okay, so we want to give people time to come in. You have 3 or 4 minutes to have your say. Say whatever you need to do. If you want to have a 3-minute rant about the football club at the moment and you want to get things off your chest, have a 3-minute rant. Just go for it. We'll sit back and relax and listen to you. If you just want to if you want to ask questions, anything you want to ask us on the panel, you ask us your questions. We'll do our best to answer them. Just make sure, guys, that when you come into the show, be just on your good behaviour, guys, yeah? I don't want no silliness. I don't want no immaturity. Come in, be polite, have your say, no stupid stuff. Otherwise we'll boot you out. I'm not having none of that. Last time I did a call-in show, I had a couple of divvies on here who thought it was good to show things on screen that you can't show. So, yeah, make sure, if I don't know you guys and you're new to the show and I've not seen you before, because I know a lot of people, obviously, been doing this for a while now, and there's a lot of people I know by their face anyway. So if there's some people I don't know and they haven't got their camera on, just put your camera on for like a second so I can see you at the bottom here before I bring you on. So I just know you're a real person. And then but there's a few that, I know anyway. So it don't really matter if you haven't got a camera, because I know quite a lot of people on here. So it's all good. Yeah, guys. So we've got a lot to talk about. FSG, Jurgen Klopp, Virgil van Dijk, Matheus Nunez apparently coming to Liverpool Football Club. The list goes on and on and on. The high line. Will we be playing this high line anymore? Wolves in the FA Cup on Saturday, guys. Lots to talk about. But before we start, guys, make sure you please hit that like button underneath the video right now. Smash that fun button. Hit the subscribe button if you've not hit the subscribe button already. I would appreciate it. We're on our way to 4K now. We're on our way to 4K. We've already gone up in subscribers quite quickly already. So big up to everyone who is new around here. I do appreciate every single one of you. I really do. So we've got Cav on the way. Baz, there's a link in your WhatsApp if you want to come on the panel as well. Big up Indian Scouser. How you doing? You're doing well, my man. Say hello to a few of the guys in the chat right now while we're waiting for some people. Big up Bailey. How you doing, my man? 60 in the chat as well. 6 times. How you doing, my man? Hope you're doing well. Bruno. How you doing, Bruno? Hope you're doing well, my man. Yassir, how you doing? Raging Pot in the chat as well. Just topic we can discuss on top 6. Spent 2016. Chelsea 1.2 bill. Man United 1 bill. Man City 1 bill. Arsenal 700 million is that. Liverpool 700 million. Everton 700 million. Big up Raging Pot. I'll save that for later, my man. I'll save that for later. Intro, proper vibes, love it. Big up Bailey, big up Bailey. Yeah, run up the chats, guys. Big up 60 in the house. John Conway, living legend in the house. How you doing, John Conway, my friend? Edward as well. Big up Edward's been active today in the comments after the last video. Big up Edward. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Captain Sal in the house as well. How you doing, Captain Sal? Jack, my man, I was just speaking to a minute ago. Big up Jack. How you doing, my man? Hope you're doing well. Stephen O'Connor as well in the chat. Big up, Steve. How you doing, my man? How you doing, Michael? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Hope you're doing good. Yes, yeah, perfect time to start my. Cheers, big up, yes, yeah. Bruno says, I will voice my opinion. I want to call in because I have things to get off my chest. There we go. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear, guys. We have lost more games without Virgil than we've lost more games without Virgil than with Virgil than without him. Is that what you mean by that? High line out, yes. We have no defenders, but Klopp insisted on the high line. Yeah, they're very true. Klopp is just digging his grave, as I'm seeing it. He says the 6 times. Big up Gary, how you doing, man? We don't want Jamie's Pornhub show because of cover it up. Cover it up. It's calling shows going to be full of rants. Laugh about that. Like, if you want to rant, man, whoever wants to rant, just go for it. Just go for it. Get it off your chest. This is the perfect time, man. Big up, big up John. How you doing, my man? Hope you're doing well. Big up Jay. Big up to you. Catnip for life. How you doing, Catnip for life? For life. Big up Noah. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Kloppish in the house. Big up Kloppish. Kloppish, you know. Man like Shawnee, how you doing? Big up, my man. How you doing, man like Shawnee? How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Jones and Ox out. Yeah, so there's a rumour. Big up, David. Hey, there is a rumour that Ox apparently missed training, I do believe. So there's a picture of Ox's missed training. So, with news of this, there's also news that Bayer Leverkusen look to be wanting to sign one Naby Keita. So Naby Keita missed training, and now apparently a certain Bayer Leverkusen, certain Xabi Alonso, wants to buy Naby Keita. Now there's rumours that at the moment he missed training because he's talking to Bayer Leverkusen. I'm not sure on all this. It's all hearsay, by the way. It's all hearsay. I'm not sure. He could be out because he missed training. I do believe Jurgen Klopp does give players rest days, though. So I know people get a bit like, oh, my God, he's not in training. He's not in training. It must be him. He's injured. But I think Jurgen Klopp does get certain players rest days. So they might not train the same day as other players. So it might have just been Naby's rest day. I'm not sure. But there is rumours of Bayer Leverkusen right now. So if that's the case, maybe they're looking for Naby to, I don't know, go to Bayer Leverkusen. Who knows right now? Who knows? It's just interesting stuff right now. My prediction for City Chelsea. Is it Mane? Big up to you. My prediction for City Chelsea. A draw. I don't think City are at it at the moment, and they can be got at. Chelsea are not at it either. I'm going a 1-1 draw. But I wouldn't be surprised if City won 4-0. Just put it that way. Yeah, but I'm going 1-1 draw. But to be fair, look, any other day I wouldn't do a video the same day as a City Chelsea game. As a Liverpool fan, I'd be like, I'd usually do a watch along for City versus Chelsea. But you know what? I'm not in the bloody mood to watch any other football team at the moment. I couldn't give a monkeys. I can't care less. I'm not in that mood at the moment, guys, to watch Chelsea City. Any other time in the season, I'll be like, right, I'm watching Chelsea City because this could be interesting because it could benefit us. It could benefit us. Usually, I'd be like, come on, Chelsea, do us a favour, beat Man City. Now I'm like, I don't give a shit. What's it matter? We're sixth. We're crap. What's it matter? So that's why I'm doing this video today. By the way, love the channel. Going big up channel. By the way, love the channel. Going to big up chat panel for supporting Jamie. Good vibes. Big up Raging Pot. Thank you very much. And Raging Pot, you've been here since day one, my friend. Good. I thought you'd be 12:30 today. So when I saw you already did a video, I just had some comments there. Yeah, I'll be back at 12:30 tomorrow. I'll be back at 12:30 tomorrow. Today I had to do an early one because my wife was taking my mum to the hospital for her appointment today, so I had to look after the kids. So yeah, that's why I did an early one. But big up in the comments, though. Big up to you in the comments, Edward. Hello, bro. Klopp and deluded Glinda's out. LD's in the house. Bruno incoming, yes. Bruno. Big up, Eunice. How you doing? Hi, Jamie. Kate and Firmino were not in training injuries, or are they moving on? As I said, with the Navigator stuff, apparently Bayer Leverkusen are very, very interested in him. FSG didn't sell Liverpool, said Liverpool can start winning the big trophies, as the man saw. Yeah, you're not wrong. Big up Spirit, how you doing, my man? Big up Colin, how you doing? Stephen in the house. Ox didn't miss train. Yeah, I meant Nabby when I said Ox. Sorry, man. Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm just getting my words mixed up. Hope City lose tonight, so United can go second in the league. Yeah, United are only 1 point behind City. How did that happen? Yes. Evening, Nicholas. How you doing, my friend? Ox was there, bro. No, yeah, I meant everyone saying I meant Nabby. I just had Ox on the brain for self. I had Ox on the brain for some reason. Swap deal coming. Sell ASAP. Yeah. I meant Nabby. Selling right now. I reckon we can get 10 to 15 mil. Getting gone. Nabby is going. I used to pray for times like these. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get Cavs here now. Look at that. There he is. My right-hand man's here. My right-hand man is here.
Good.
There you go. Can hear you now. Good man.
Yeah,
You all right? Yeah. All good.
Oh, good.
Good.
Yeah, sound. All good. Thanks. Looking forward to it. Seeing what people got to say.
Yeah, so the rules are everyone's going to get 3 or 4 minutes, depending how many people we get, like, wanting a call in. You can have they can have a 3 or 4 minute rant and get everything off their chest. There we let them. They got any questions for me and Cav? Obviously, give us your questions. We'll answer them the best we possibly can, and then we'll move you guys on and get the next caller on and keep it going. The way Coppish do it, basically, the way that Coppish does it. I've done it like this before as well. But yeah, we've got things to talk about. Obviously, the Virgil injury. Navigator, we linked with Bayer Leverkusen today, and he weren't in training. Link. So the things to talk about. We're going to open the phone lines up in about 10 more minutes, guys. Give us 10 more minutes. Get more people in here, and we'll go open up the phone lines. So just give us 10 more minutes, and I'll whack the link in the chat, guys. Bear with us. So, Cav, I was just talking to guys about Virgil's injury. So, reports today are saying he might not be back for the first leg against Real Madrid, which is it 23rd of February? Something like that?
21st, I think, is it? Top of the bonnet, yeah.
21st of Feb, right? He might not even be back for that. And it's what, 6th of January today? 5th of January?
Yeah.
So, when in the game, right, so I've been thinking like this because I've had my conspiracy hat on. So in the game against, so we were loaning back Billy the Kid, weren't we, from that Austrian side, right?
Yeah.
That news broke before the Brentford game, yeah. Then against Brentford, Virgil looked off it right from minute one, right? Something didn't look right with him, and then when he was running, he looked really slow. And I've been thinking to myself, has the injury caught up with him? Has he just lost his pace then? But then I look back on other games and think, hang on, no, he ain't lost his pace. I see him burning against City players and stuff like that. Still got his pace. So the conspiracy bit in me was like, was he already injured before the game? Well, not 100%. Told the boss, I feel something. I don't feel quite right, but I'm still willing to play. Knowing how important Virgil is, Klopp thought this is a big game that we need to win. I'm going to play Virgil because he came off at half time. Now we're here. He's come off. After the game, Klopp said, "I don't think he's got an injury, but he felt something. We'll have a look. I don't think it's that bad." The day after, we were it's a hamstring, and then yesterday we hear that he might not be back now till after the first leg against Real Madrid, which is a long layoff. Now, I've said it this. I'm going to give you the question, Kev. Is it a blessing in disguise in a way that Virgil got injured?
In the sense that we might look to change tactics slightly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Virgil's not played well this season, but like I think I said it a few weeks back. When you look at the performances, like especially prior to the World Cup, he wasn't playing bad. It's just moments that were sort of overshadowing his entire performance. So over the course of 90 minutes, he was okay, not stellar, but okay. And then like the United game where you think, how can you step out and just close the shot? That kind of situation occurred in most games, to be honest, where you were looking at him thinking the old Virgil would have just, got his body on the line, or he would have just committed himself more and stuff. And then that's why we're sort of looking at him going, he's not quite perfect anymore, which he isn't, he's not as, he's nowhere near his peak, so to speak. But I think it's a difficult one to answer, because I do understand your thinking with it, because this team was playing well. We had firepower before Virgil come in, but we were leaky in defence, and he come in and he changed it, and we became even braver with the high line and how much we committed the fullbacks on, because Virgil, in any situation against any striker, would come out on top 9 times out of 10. Whether the striker was physically strong, tall, or fast, Virgil could beat him in every regard. So you could leave him 1v1, defending against the opposition. He's not been great in that sense this season, and maybe we have to look at it and go, look, if he was the facilitator for us being so brave and pushing forward so much, without him, surely it means we have to go back to being a bit more defensively compact, whether that be drop the line slightly. I'm not saying be like a part of the bus team, but maybe don't go full press from like the opposition's kickoff. Maybe just like get back into shape, make sure the space between defense and midfield is compact, bring the forwards back, let them play out if they want to, and then let them come on to us before going in and engaging. Not only does that mean your team's a bit more compact, but once you win the ball, you can win the ball in numbers, because they've ultimately ran into an area where your forwards and your midfielders can then push on. You will have more if you do happen to win the ball. You've got further to get before you get to the goal, but with the pace we have, it might not be such a bad thing. So there are probably things you can do to sort of react to the fact that we're not going to be able to play the high line as well without Virgil and all of this. And then in some respects that might work in our favour, because we've not been, I think we're like at the top 6, we've given up the most chances this season. I think it's
only not in the Forest gave up more chances than us, I think.
Yeah, which is crazy. So always round, you've got to look at changing something. You've got to not necessarily formation and wholesale system changes, but like you've got to tweak how you play in the game slightly, because that's just going to kill you. It's simply not good enough to give away that many chances. Maybe now Virgil not being in there does force something slightly. I mean, it's going to be difficult because these players are so used to playing this system, like it's ingrained in them. Do you know what I mean? And unless you've got so much time on the training ground, it might be difficult to sort of get these guys, instead of pressing forward in certain scenarios, actually you sit off slightly and things like that. So it's probably easier said than done, but I do think we need to, I'd like to think that Klopp and the coaching team are going to react in some respect, because if we end up playing Wolves and then Brighton and think we can play the way we have been this season without Virgil, I think, again, that's just another level of arrogance that we're showing, and naivety, if you like. And it don't look good, does it? It don't make you confident that Liverpool are going to go out and get a result. So I I'm a bit torn on it. I like the fact that Klopp's arrogant. I like the fact that we're like, no, we're going to stick with it, and when the players come back, it's going to work, and you know, and showing that bravery. But at the same time, on the other hand, I'm like, we might just need to accept where we are at this position, this moment in time, and just be a bit more defensively compact. If that means we create less, look, we're not in a title race. We're in a top 4 race. It's different. You know what I mean? If a point away at Brentford in a title race would have been a killer, you know, draws are terrible. We've experienced that for the past few years, but in a top 4 race, might not have been the worst result, you know, just picking up points, making sure momentum's not fully killed, which it is now, I believe. So maybe we do need to switch it up. And I think, just going back to Virgil, your original question, I think it's a big loss. It sounds obvious to say, and I know he's not been playing well this season, but you'll see how much of a loss he is when he's not there, because he is like the main. He's the talker at the back. Do you know what I mean? He's the leader. He sees the whole pitch in front of him. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can step up in his place, because as good as Konate and Matip and Gomez can be on his day, they're not leaders at the back. You know, they've not got that. They haven't got that ability that Virgil has to instruct everybody else and make sure everyone else is in position. So there's certainly going to be a loss without Virgil. And yeah, if it's looking touch and go for the Real Madrid game, I think, from what I've been told, it's yeah. And hamstrings are one you don't rush as well. We've seen that with Jota of late. Although he did his calf last, but it was hamstring prior to that, going into the summer and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't take the risk on him, because he'll come, if he comes back too early, you will lose him for at least another 6 weeks if he pulls it again. So it's like, even if you get to near that Madrid game and it's like, oh, he's back in first team training and this and that, you probably still won't see him for, you know, a few couple of weeks, I would say, before they're really, really happy with him. So massive loss, and just adds to the sort of bit of the doom and gloom at the minute, doesn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like guys, the link is pinned into the live chat, so go onto the link if you want to call into the show, guys. Remember, you got 3 or 4 minutes, depending how many people we have waiting in the green room, and have your say, your rant, your questions, whatever it is, and then we'll get you onto the show, guys. Look, with the Van Dijk situation, I don't obviously mean him to be injured is a good thing. So people in the chat might take me wrong by that. I didn't mean I don't ever want a player injured. What I mean by it is that Van Dijk, Virgil, and Pep, apparently they're the ones who came up with this high line rule, this high line way of playing. And it only came in with VAR. Like, we catch more teams offside with VAR than any other side. And it's because of, you know, Virgil and Klopp and Pep spoke about this in training before, apparently. Like, I saw a thing where Klopp was talking about that. Virgil's the one who came to him about it. I don't think personally, and I think the high line at the moment is causing us so many issues, especially on the counter attack. So I want, if Van Dijk ain't going to be playing, right, and we will miss him because his leadership at the back. I don't actually think he's a great captain, by the way. But I do think he's a great leader of the men at the back at organising a defence. He is second to none. As an all-round captain, I don't actually think he's got it in him. I really don't. I think because he's got so many duties at the back that he wants to be in charge of and lead. I think you take that away from him, but he's got to be the whole captain of the whole side. So I think he wants to leave him be. You know, sometimes you need leaders all over the pitch. You don't have to be a captain. You know what I mean? So leave him be, let him be a leader.
I think we've been quite fortunate in that sense when it comes to our captains, is that Virgil is a leader at the back. He's the leader at the back. He's the voice and the organizer at the back, as I say. But then you also have another man in Henderson further up the pitch that then performs a lot of captain duties. So it's not as though we've got a team that only has one main guy that carries everybody through. Actually, we have a few. I mean, we've not really seen it this season, admittedly, and that's been one of the large disappointments of this season, is that the big boys, you know, the experienced men, haven't really stepped up. But there's no sort of, although there's one man with the armband on the pitch, there's usually 2 or 3 that really sort of take a captain's kind of role. You see it, like Robbo's another one. You know, you see him when he comes on the other night, he takes the armband, but in most games, he's usually in his performance, high energy, you know, talking to people, and it's very rare you see Robbo quiet in a game. So,
but yeah, exactly. Big up Savage as well. Big up everyone inside. Like, subscribe your bums. Guardiola looking stressed before kickoff is hilarious. Big up Savage. Savage, if you want to be part of the me and Cav on the panel here, you're more than welcome. I sent a link to your Twitter, so you are more than welcome. So we're gonna get our first caller in. I don't want to butcher his name. I think it's you, Raj. Is that if I said that right? Thumbs up if I said that right. I can see you. Right, I'm gonna let him in now. Right, here he is. Big up. Hi, my man. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
hey, mate, you good?
Yeah, I'm fine. But yeah, I mean, we're a mess right now, but I think Klopp's been getting all the sentimentals. Now we're seeing the exposed of Klopp getting the blame now because everyone's doing FSG and stuff, but now we're seeing the blame's going to Klopp, which I can understand. I think people have been blaming FSG too much. Now we're seeing everyone's been getting the blame now. I think FSG not giving the money, but Klopp has had the money, you can say, but he's not spent it. So, and we had the chance of signing Nkunku. Klopp said no. So, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, it's worrying that he said no to Nkunku. Like, that's a quality player. Now he's gone to Chelsea, which doesn't help. But yeah, it's just a mess.
How do you feel about that? Would you prefer Nkunku over Nunez?
Yeah. I think
Really?
if Nkunku signed, he would have played as false 9. I think he would have played a false 9, and then Firmino. He would have been the Firmino replaced. Well, Firmino the no contract negotiations, and then I would see happening because I think Nkunku would have fitted. I mean, this is the thing. Nunez will become good, but we need now. We can't need extra 2 years or 1 year. But I think, I think Nkunku would have been fitted better. But obviously, we signed Nunez, and we see what's happening with Nunez. So, yeah. But overall, it's just annoying, man. We're just not in a great state, man. We're not getting top. I can't even see us getting top 4 now. We're not going to sign a midfielder. It does seem like that now, because there's been rumours of us not potentially signing a midfielder now, which worries me. It really worries me for a season.
No, I agree. What's your feelings on the Matheus Nunez situation?
Well, we could have got him last summer, but we decided to get him next summer. Now this summer, so
Do you think Liverpool made a mistake? Should have just got him in the summer.
Yeah, we would have gone for 30 million. Now we're going to have to pay him 50 million. I just don't get it. I think we wanted him. We just didn't put the fee in, something like that, because he waited for us, but we didn't put the fee in, which is we could have gone for 30 million. 30 million. Now we pay 50 million, which is a big difference.
It certainly is, my friend. Anything else you want to say? You got a little bit of time?
Not really. I mean, that's all I want to say, really.
Big up to yourself, my friend. And make sure you come back in another call-in show, yeah?
Yeah.
Big up to you. See you later on, my friend. I'll see you later.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, I think his first point about blame and who's responsible for where we are, you know, mentioned Klopp in there as well. I think for the first time, maybe seriously, people are looking at Klopp, you know, and what he's doing and what he's done this season, and starting to question him. And yeah, look, my take on it, I think everybody's got a bit of part to play in where we are, and I know that's a bit of a sitting on the fence answer, and people probably won't like to hear it, but it's down to Klopp, it's down to the players for me as to why we're sitting in 6th position in the league. And then it's not aided by the fact that we should have probably done better in the summer, probably had more finance to go out and sign a midfielder on top of the players that we did get. But then that being said, I mean, I mentioned it the other week, Nunez cost a lot of money. So obviously there was money there. Maybe we should have looked at getting a midfielder and a cheaper forward. I don't know. But I think I think with the performances that we've seen, not just the results, not just the league position at the minute, the performances have been particularly, you know, disappointing, and they don't represent what we stand for as a club. You know, we can accept maybe drawing games, which has been frustrating over the past few seasons. Can accept losing the odd game, although we don't like it. But performances, when we're seeing guys not really putting the energy in, not really playing for the badge, so to speak, it's disappointing to see. And any other club, you do look at the manager. That's just football. That's the nature of football. But yeah, questions being asked from everybody at the minute. So
yeah, definitely. Definitely, my man. Definitely. Right, we're going to get John on next. I know he's got a lot to say. Let's get John on the show. Big up, my man. How are you? Oh, you're on mute, man. You're on mute. Still can't hear you, John.
yeah,
Look at that. I give John all the time in the world. And
look at the merch he's got in the background as well.
We'll give John a second. We'll give John a quick second. What we'll do, John, I'll get Bruno in and get you in after you've done your sound, my man. I'll leave you in the background. Let's get Bruno in. Big up, Bruno.
Hello.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Hi, Bruno.
I've got a few things I've got to get off my chest.
Go for it. Just let loose.
FSG, I want this lot out of my club.
Go for it, man. Go for it. Unleash, unleash, unleash. Get it all out.
I want FSG out of my club by my birthday, April 22nd.
Go. Let me mark that down.
Got to go. Enough is enough. Like I said on the Football Terrace, like I said on Coppish TV, we are not Tottenham. Okay? Finishing second, finishing third, finishing fourth is not good enough. Yeah. We are not the bride. We are not the bridesmaid. You know, like when you go to a wedding and you have the bridesmaid, the person that's taking the bride down the aisle, we're not the bridesmaid. We're not the bridesmaid. Right?
No, you're right, man. You're right.
I'm sick and tired of the pathetic excuses. Every January transfer window, every summer transfer window, it's the same excuse every window. We don't have any money. We don't have any money. I'm bringing up with these pathetic excuses of the coronavirus. The coronavirus, my ass. Right? Coronavirus, my ass. And one more thing. Finishing fourth, third, and second place is horse poo. It's diarrhea. Yeah? Diarrhea. Yeah? It's elephant's poo. If you've been to a horse stable, you know what I'm talking about. Have you been to a horse stable before?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, the poo of a horse. It doesn't smell very nice over there. Right? Klopp isn't innocent in this because he's also guilty. Constantly using the same formation every single season. Constantly using the same players, picking favourites. Constantly using the same formation, the same tactics. Change the formation, change the tactics.
Oh, I think Bruno's having a.
Yeah, changing the formation, like just change it. It's repetitive and it's boring. Like it's ridiculous. Right. What do you guys think about this? Because I'm pissed off.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, look, we're
every transfer window, I'm hearing the same excuses. When's the last time we bought a midfielder? Right. We're not Barnet, we're not Kidderminster, we're not Barrow. We are Liverpool Football Club, the second biggest club in England. Like, if you can't do it, as I said on Coppish TV, right, pack your bags and sling your up. None of this crap. I'm sick and tired of the excuses. I'm sick and tired of it. Right? Like I said on Coppish TV, we're not pregnant. We are not pregnant. It doesn't take 9 months to sell a cub. We're not carrying twins. We're not carrying twins. We're not carrying triplets. I want the cub sold before April. If they're not out here before April, there'll be serious problems. I mean it. Serious problems. This guy, I'm sick and tired of it. Like every time he comes, it's the same excuse. Every single time January comes along, it's the same excuse. We need a midfielder. Keita can't stay fit. Oxlade-Chamberlain is made out of biscuits, and flipping Naby Keita, like, and Henderson, like, they're past the due date. Like, finish.
Bruno.
I want to see us winning doubles, trebles, and things like that. And before selling, ask questions. Are you going to put the club success first? Are you going to make sure the club is run well? If the club isn't going to be, and last question. Have you done anything that may damage Liverpool's reputation? Liverpool's reputation. If they say yes to those questions and the last one is no, accept it. If all of them say, if the last one they said yes and the first one say no and the second one is no, reject the offer and move on. You don't take flipping 10 years to get a new owner in. I want new owners in by flipping April. None of this crap. That's what I think about this. I wonder what you guys think, because I'm fuming. I'm fuming. This guy has to leave.
Bruno, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is there anybody at the club that you like? Because
Right.
I feel like
to
everybody
bits.
got it there.
I love Klopp to bits, but he's no angel. He's not a god. He's not a god. Our fan base actually like.
Do you believe Klopp still has the ability to get Liverpool back to where they were, back to their best?
With the correct backing and the funds, right? He can do it. With the backing and the funds, he can do it. Right? And also, he needs to stop picking favourites. Right? If a player's playing crap, you stick them on the bench. You stick them on the bench. You don't just sit here and, like Salah, for example. I've heard people say, right, fan base say that Salah don't need competition for his position. Well, I'm sorry, but if he's not playing well, you stick him on the bench. Same with Trent. I don't want to hear any of this crap. If he's playing rubbish, you stick him on the bench.
So
Bruno, we're going to let you go. We'll go answer your questions now, man. I'm going to let you go and get everyone else on, all right, my man?
Thank you very much.
No worries, Bruno. Thank you.
Take care, man.
Thank you. Yeah, Bruno. I love Bruno. Big up, Bruno. Love to you, my man. Bruno with the release the kids.
I've spoke to Bruno before, actually, and he just comes for everybody. Everyone gets.
Was he on Grizzlies before?
Yeah.
Release the kids. Oh, I love Bruno. Big up the Bruno, man. Jen's coming for him. Jen ain't having it. Big up Jen. Right, we're going to get John on now. I think he's got a working mic. Go on, John.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
We can hear you now, John.
Yeah, cheers. So it's going to be hard to follow up now after that, I think. Yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to say, because when you talk about Klopp, every time you have to say that, you want FSG out first, because there's a lot of people that are a bit sensitive when you talk about Klopp. So,
oh yeah,
I definitely want FSG gone as well, because we do need more ambitious owners, but we can't have Klopp as well doing his usual stuff, like declining players or thinking that his players that he likes are okay, that you can clearly see are not up to it anymore. Or, I just, it's difficult. There's just so many things right now that are just linked to Klopp. It's just like this formation right now, even now, especially with VVD, it's like, we definitely have to now drop the line back. We cannot play this line anymore. We can't have people running towards the.
Oh Jesus!
We can't have our defenders running towards goal anymore. It's getting silly now.
That's a great point you raise. I think a lot of people overlook that when they think about the high line, because the high line, when there's pressure on the ball, is a brilliant system, and I think that's the way forward for any team that wants to win, the major honours. Is you have to be on the front foot, you have to push up the pitch. But when the pressure is not on the ball and the ball is being put over the back line, it's running towards your own goal. That's a horrible sight to see. Not only is a forward going towards your goal and you're worried about the chance they're creating, but everybody else is. So all the momentum's going that way. And it's very hard to, win the ball back and then turn and recover and what have you. You also have to sort of change your body shape, change direction of where you're running and stuff. And you think if you've got a lower block and there's a high ball coming in, you're constantly facing the pitch. And as you're going for a challenge, you go for a header, in your vision and your peripheral vision, you're seeing the pitch. So you're always sort of analyzing the game and certain situations that are moving on around you. You're doing less of that if you're running back towards your own goal, because you're just concentrating on where that ball is and where the player is and concentrating on getting it back and turning around. So, yeah, a good point you raised with the running back towards goal thing.
It's always a difficult thing as well, because Klopp's philosophy, right, has always been heavy metal and pressing and all that. And it's got to a stage now with the players we've got doesn't suit anymore. Like you said, with the defense running back and all that, it's fine playing the high line when they've got less time on the ball, so having to rush things so then you can push the line up quick, catch people offside, having to make runs quicker and all that. But it's just not happening anymore because everyone's slow, everyone's just tired, and who knows, maybe players jaded with playing this system for so long that they're just not doing things as fast as they used to as well. And it's got to the stage where I just want us to look solid. I don't care about playing such exciting football anymore. If we, I would take winning 1-0 again and all that, like we did in the season we won the league. I don't care. I just want us to, it's embarrassing conceding this many chances a game and just making Ali. And what, we're just going to talk about Ali all day.
Yeah. What would you prefer? Would you prefer heavy metal football again, where it's a bit, we're creating attacks and genuine good attacks, good team passing movement and, good crosses into the box, not just Nunez as a threat, but Salah as well. Gakpo comes in, all these guys getting opportunities to score, but having the leaky defense? Or would you rather us be defensively compact and creating less up the pitch? Which one would you prefer us to go if you given a choice?
I probably wouldn't mind heavy metal football. The problem is that there's a lot that has to happen to make that happen again that I don't know will happen. So we're kind of like in this limbo where is FSG gonna replace all the players we need replaced to play that again, or is Klopp stubbornness going to drop enough that he's going to push back so we can get best out of players like Nat Phillips now is going to probably have to play, who's going to be better in a lower line, and maybe our slower midfielders would be better if we drop back as well. So it's like it's somewhere in the middle for us right now, but I don't think Klopp is accepting that. I don't think he's going to accept that, which is kind of scary because I don't know. Like people have said, I don't know how far we're going to drop before that becomes a reality.
I think that's the worrying thing, isn't it? I think the worrying is that so far we've seen so many of these performances that have been subpar, and he's not really reacted. I know we changed formation for a while and gone back to the 4-3-3, but it's that lack of reaction I think's got some people slightly worried, I guess. Is that, are we just going to continue with this now and look, the results will be what they are? I don't know. It's
I think earlier in the season when we played the Diamond, I think the games there were quite high scoring as well, and I think we did edge a lot of those games, and some of them we didn't get the goals we needed. But I think I don't know. It felt like it suited us a little bit more with the players we have now, but it still wasn't great because we're still making a lot of errors in defense, which definitely doesn't help. But I think we just need reinforcements, unfortunately. But like, are we going to get those? That's the question.
Man, it's a great question, man. It's a great question. While you're there, John, obviously you brought up the Nkunku stuff earlier. Do you think Liverpool actually turned down Nkunku for Darwin, or do you think they decided that they thought Darwin? There's things about Darwin's game that suited Jurgen Klopp's system more than Nkunku. So it wasn't a straight turn down, like, oh, Darwin's a far better footballer, we're going to get him. Do you think Darwin suited the system and the setup more than Nkunku, and that's why they turned him down?
I think it's the last bit you said there. I think it's the last bit. I think we turned him down because I think Nunez has some better traits to fit our system. Yeah. The sad thing is I wish we'd be more ambitious just to got them both, because if Firmino's going to be leaving, couldn't you just use him? And I think Nkunku's played a lot of positions. Couldn't he play in the 10 if Klopp was more flexible? Or I don't know if I think I've heard people say he hasn't played that much, but it's not like Klopp doesn't move people about anyway, does he? So.
No, John, you're right, my man. All right, John, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for coming in again, as always, my man. I'll see you.
Thank you,
next
John.
Yeah,
cheers, mate.
Big up to you, John. Thank you very much.
Jamie, Cav, Ends.
Ends, you all right, guys?
Big up, bro. Big
You
up.
two can
Yeah, good
stay
mate,
on
you.
as-
man.
You two can stay on as panel guests if you like.
Nah, Jay, they were late. You get 3 minutes. You get 3 minutes each, and then you move on.
Is it 3 minutes? Okay, what's the question? What's the question?
Summarize the state of Liverpool in 3 minutes. Go.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
God, you
Right.
can't do that in 3 minutes, can you?
I've got John and Edward waiting. Right, before I will get to that, I just want to know what everyone thinks. What is going on in this picture?
Yeah, bro, man's going on.
What is going on in this picture? Is this Gapco saying, look, I'm going to line them up on a plate for you. You fucking miss them.
Yeah, then what the hell is Nunez responding with?
Nunez
Yeah.
is like, yeah. He's saying
Nunez is like, I shoot like this, bro, my eyes closed.
what is that picture about?
Do you know
To
what?
be fair-
It's one of
to
them
be fair,
photos
I
you
look
gotta look
forward
on the
to
other
both.
side.
I look forward
Yeah,
to
it's one of them
both
photos you
of
gotta
those.
see the other side of it.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, let's get Edward in here. Bigger. I know Edward has been busy in the comments of my last video earlier. So I know,
Alright.
I know Edward's got a lot to say. Then we'll bring John in after. John, hope you're cool waiting a bit, mate. Top man. Big up, Edward. How you doing, man?
Big up, mate.
Hello, Edward.
How are you?
Not bad.
How are you all?
Oh,
Good, mate, you?
Good.
Edward, it's your chance,
Edward,
mate.
before you start, Edward,
Go on.
I
Well,
still haven't let it down, right? That you picked Ashley Cole at left back as the first option in the draft.
Yeah,
Smart.
Edward
You are
fucked us.
smart. I'll give you that.
Edward absolutely
Yeah,
fucked us. He absolutely messed us up in that. Alright. Edward, how you doing,
Oh,
my
yeah.
man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm a bit bewildered by our fan base at the moment, but
Go on, then. Let it go, man. This is your chance.
yeah. Well, first, let me say this. I'm absolutely shocked to discover the assistant manager at Liverpool Football Club is actually leading training sessions. That
Yeah, that-
absolutely never happens at clubs ever.
That's
This
a
is
bit
how I
far.
know there's something wrong at Liverpool because this is happening. You'll be giving Jurgen Klopp tactical advice next.
You never know. You
I
never
mean,
know.
Listen, if the assistant has an eye for talent or speaking to players, then they will be involved in some extent. The assistant at every club is likely to be involved in different things, depending on what the manager feels he wants to delegate or what the assistant's strengths are. So, as a general rule, we know Klopp, he sees himself as a decision maker rather than a does everything type leader. He likes input everyone because you never know whom is going to have the best idea. So he runs with whatever input he likes best. We know that because he said that himself. So I mean, it also seems to me like some people just like good parts of Klopp's management philosophy when it leads to a never give up type mentality and gives us comebacks and mentality monsters. The good parts of that come through a culture of unconditional faith and loyalty to the players, rewards for their efforts and outcome, not just outcomes, like your Hendersons, your Milners. So it's an art and it comes with trade-offs, which we're seeing right now. There are no right answers, but let me ask you this. Would you take this season if it meant the decisions that led to us coming back from Barcelona winning 4-0? Because they're the trade-offs you've got to keep in mind with Jurgen Klopp and his system. And also, something you've been speaking about in past videos, Jamie, where I agree to a certain extent in regards to them, and that's the midfield, where you say, I'm just call it retro is the Wijnaldum, Henderson, Fabinho players, and that he wants to replicate that.
Yeah,
But do you think he does? Because I'm not so sure he sees that. Yes, you're right. we won the big two with those three.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about it, what pushed us over the line in those winning those? Virgil and Alisson. Without those two signings, we don't win those two big trophies. That's why I believe he wants Jude Bellingham. That is a big money signing, and he sees that as the game changer to make us turn us back up again to challenge for those two big ones. So, whilst I see your point, and I do agree to it to some extent, those players, 40 million type players coming into the team would make us different. Say for like your Nunez's and whoever. But that's why I prefer the quality of a Jude and someone else to 3 or 4 40 million type players. So if it comes down to the fact we just get Bellingham and Nunez combined 160, I'd take 2 over 40 million, because as we've seen in the past, when he wants those big game changers, it works out for him. So I just want your thoughts on that.
No, mate. Look, I think you're right into what you're saying there. Look, you look at the big game players that won it for Liverpool over the end were your Virgils and your Alisson. So you are definitely right there. And as you say, the fan base, I mean, the fan base don't know what they're doing at the moment. It is true. No. Everyone is split. But look, you cooked me there, Edward. You are right, man. I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it. Stubbsy, what do you reckon what Edward said?
Yeah, you make some good points. I think the main thing for me, the midfield, who will look at what we've got now. We've got Thiago, who's at the wrong side of 30 now. Hendo's the same. The biggest problem for me is we've not replaced, and he got a lot of stick before he left as well, Wijnaldum. We've not replaced him. We've not got that workhorse in midfield anymore. We're so easy to play against. But also Klopp's very stubborn as well. He's gone back to this 4-3-3 formation. There was no coincidence when we're doing the 4-2-3-1. I thought we're a lot better dynamic, because we're a lot less predictable to play against. But like I say, the main issue for me is we need that workhorse in midfield. We don't seem to press as much as what we used to. Bobby Firmino was the biggest one to press. His legs have gone now, and there's no coincidence that he's constantly injured as well. I think that we really, really need that workhorse in midfield. If it's someone like a Caicedo, who I quite like, to be honest, I think whether or not he's the answer, I don't know, but he's someone with Premier League experience, so it wouldn't be a bad shout. But I mean, the likes of Jude Bellingham, I mean, the only way we sign him is if we get new owners. The owners aren't going to.
I agree.
The owners aren't going to pluck up 120, 130, 40 million to obviously buy Bellingham. As much as we need him, they're not going to do it, to be honest. But we're just, like I say, to summarise, we're just too easy to play against. We're not pressing high up the pitch. We're not winning the balls back up in the high areas anymore like we used to. And we just haven't got that workhorse in midfield. So, look at prime example for whose goal was it? The Leicester goal, straight from the goal kick, one little touch from, I think it was Daka. Hendo was taken out of the game. Robbo wasn't tracking his man, and it just far too easy. But I mean, they're the things for me. We're just too easy to play against. We are creating the chances, but also we are having a lot of shots at our goal, which didn't happen last season. I don't know the reason for that, because it's the same defence. So I'm a bit bewildered at that, to be honest, mate.
Big up, Edward. Edward, always a pleasure, my man.
Yeah, take care.
Big up,
Edward.
Cheers,
mate.
Big up, Edward's absolutely cooking me there. Right, let's get John on. John, it's been a while, my man.
Yo, what's going on, Jamie?
How you doing?
Hi, John. Big up, mate.
How you doing, guys? Yes.
Yeah, we're all right.
It's my first time on your show as well, you know. It's crazy.
Is it the first time? I know you've been in the chat and all that.
Yeah. It's the first time I'm on the show.
I ain't done a lot of calling shows, to be fair, but I know a lot of Liverpool fans had a lot to say. So I can't. Look, any other day, I'll be watching a Chelsea City game, but I can't be fucked.
Yeah.
What's the score on that game?
It's 0-0. I don't give a shit, man.
I don't care.
Usually I'll be like, oh, come on, Chelsea, do us a favour. No, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't
You know what it is? We're talking about favours, yeah. We can't even do ourselves a favour and take it out. How about that? You know what I'm saying? But
we can't even buy favours.
Oh my god, it's just a shambles. I think like the club overall, just as a whole, as a not even an organisation, as an institution, like fan base and the club is just. It's just such disarray. Like I've never seen this since probably like the Hicks and Gillette era. But even then, there was more of a everyone was kind of galvanized to push them out of the club. But it's like now what you're seeing is everyone is kind of split on this whole debacle of Klopp and FSG, and it's like, well, they're kind of both as bad as each other if we really deep it, because it's like you have someone like Klopp who, okay, despite all the accolades he's won with us, like we got to give him that. But if we're talking recent decision making from the transfers to the decisions being made on the pitch to the formations, we have to question it. Even from the owners. I mean, I'm not going to get too deep into the owners because I think I've pretty much said on every one of these shows how I feel about FSG. Me, I want them out. I've been wanting them out. Even when we won the Champions League, I wanted them out. Like, and I feel like there shouldn't be really a split within the fan base on these two entities, because what they really are they're a match made in heaven, but right now, as you can see, they're for the wrong reasons, and there needs to be a split, and one of them needs to go in order for the other to leave, so we can bring in a fresh new idea into the club that can actually last, not just for like 2 seasons, because that's essentially what has happened. Like we were at the top of the food chain for 2 seasons roughly. We didn't take advantage. We had no plan to obviously strengthen from the position of power. So like I know fans were obviously at the time when we won the Champions League, we thought, okay, what can we do to obviously tip City over the line, which we did obviously, but still. But yeah, you hear people say, "Oh, we don't want to break up There's no use in breaking up the front three. There's no use in breaking up the defense when everything's perfect." But in actuality, when you think of the great teams like Man U during the 90s and the early 2000s or the Arsenals, they still brought in players to create healthy competition. And that's what kept the longevity of trophies coming in. Like I'll even go back to even when Leeds were like a top 4 team. And they had like 2 quality players for each position. Do you know what I'm saying? We have apps, and I knew from and as a fan, because I'm a fan. Like I shouldn't have to ask myself after we've won the Champions League, okay, what are we gonna do to sustain at the top? Like I shouldn't as a fan, I shouldn't have to think that. I should be thinking, all right, cool. I know that we're gonna get Mbappe. Cool. I know that because our scouting department is on point, we're going to bring in Jude from Birmingham. Not Dortmund, but Birmingham. Do you know what I'm saying? But everyone likes to talk about, obviously, our scouting department, getting gems from here, there. It's like, no, if you really look at our youth system as well, it's like, it's really not that great. I'll be real. It's really not that great. And I even in comparison to another team, like I'm a fan of Leon, like on the side, you know what I'm saying? So
John just revealed his bit on the side online.
No, I'll be real. The thing with Leon is that Leon don't lie to me. Leon don't lie and say we're gonna challenge for the title. Leon don't lie to me saying we're gonna.
Leon whispering nice things to your ear.
Listen, mate, Leon give me the truth. I know where I stand. You know what I'm saying? So
and they just signed Lovren back.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So the thing with Leon is like, I look at their youth system and they're able to breed generational talents, like and like the quality is, you can't compare it to the youth system with Liverpool, because what you eventually see is a lot of players going out on loan to like just whatless clubs. Like we have a problem in midfield, but then you have a talent in James Balaguese being shipped off to Crawley Town. Like how does that make sense? How is he going to benefit off that? Like it's just these are the type of decisions within the club that are just creating such a dysfunctional problem. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just really toxic. And to be honest with me, like me personally, and I don't know what your stance, what you guys' stance is on Klopp right now, but for me, I've been Klopp out from I think pretty much halfway through last season because I can see where there was a bit of
decline.
There was a bit of a decline, but I think it was more so a thing where I think it was more so the fan base, because I think the fan base, once we saw what we could have achieved or we were about to achieve, I think that kind of gave the energy back to the players, because obviously the players do feed off the energy from the fans, so that's what you kind of saw. But I knew long term, I thought, yeah, this is looking like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Michael Jordan documentary, but it did seem like come the end of the last season, like the last dance, if you call it. A lot of players coming to the end of their tenure, so now you're thinking, like, are we gonna like decline like the Chicago Bulls, or are we actually gonna, update the software and bring in like, fresh blood? You know what I mean? Like, I've just seen in the comments, like, again, another Leon player like Kakare. Like, I can tell you right now, from what I've seen for the last 3 years, I can tell you right now, Kakare into this midfield, he would easily walk in this midfield. Anyone would walk in this midfield.
Yeah, I was about to say,
right now, I would even take Brighton's whole midfield. They would easily, and
that's the aim.
That's well. By the looks of it, they look like the new Southampton. You know what I'm saying? Like, as in, like, you know what I mean?
True.
So,
John, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Going into the season, where did you think Liverpool would finish in the league?
I said 4th place.
You think we'd finish top 4?
I said 4th place, only because obviously with the signing of Nunez, I just thought this is such a big risk, because obviously we're buying a player based on what he's just only done for one season, because it's not like he was banging in goals the season before. Do you get what I'm saying? And there was many other forwards where we could have got like Christopher Nkunku. Like, I cannot believe, like, it's decisions like this that make me think, like who in world football, like, how can you compare the impact like Nunez would bring? Like Nkunku is a beast. This guy is a beast. He's lethal, proper finisher, and you turn him down for a player that's not even like actually proven it. Like, I don't know, something's not right. Like, we're spending money, but we're spending money on the wrong players. And I predicted 4th, to be honest with you, because I just didn't see. I mean, we let go of like players like Medamino and Origi, who contributed to the fact that we were challenging for 4. We let them go without bringing. Like, I'm fine. I don't know about you guys, but the thing is with me, with this whole sell to buy policy, is like, I don't mind if we let go of players, but it's whether can you bring in replacements to replace those players, because obviously we don't. It's not like we need like a squad of 40 man in the team. Like, we don't need that. It's like, all right, if it's sell to buy, then okay, sell, then get the required money back and get adequate replacements for them. This is why, like, even I don't know about you guys, but it's like, even when you think of the actual economics of the decisions that have been made from player sales, like, I don't know about you guys, but I thought, for me, letting Sadio Mane go for 40 million was a bit of a joke, considering that Real Madrid let Casemiro go for, what was it, 70?
I can't remember how much he went for. Can anyone remember that? Was it around that?
50 odd million on it. 50 odd
it?
million, I think. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But okay, but if you compare the type of like catalog Sadio Mane came, like, I don't care about whether Thiago, I mean, Bayern Munich bust us with Thiago or whatnot. I don't care. Business is business. This is still a top player. You sell him and you get the maximum fee, so that we can actually bring back that money and go and get a Jude, or go and get a Kakare or a Caicedo. You do that, but instead we only got 40 million. We sell for 40 million. Like, that's, I think.
Do you know what it is though, John? With that one, we weren't in a strong position to negotiate. It was in his last year, so it was in the player's hand. We could have lost him for nothing or gained 40 million. I think that's the kind of throw up we had.
But again, this is the thing now. We're doing. So it's so ironic how Arsenal are now what we were 4 or 5 years ago, and we're basically what they were like during that whole struggle of when Wenger was like kind of declining, like we're letting players run down their contracts, like going into their last year. Like Ox, it's like, okay, for me, I don't rate Ox, like, and I think ever since that Roma injury, it's never been the same. But I struggle to even, I can't comprehend how he's managed to stay at Liverpool for the last 4 years, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
like there's been opportunities where we could have actually maybe gotten at least 15 mil because he still has a little bit to offer. It's players like that where you think, okay, we could have shot you. Cater, I mean, I don't know how much he's worth, but it's like, again, this isn't
50p.
Well,
not even that. That's being generous.
So
you know the Mane thing you were just talking about? I just thought as well, Liverpool paid more for Ox in his last year of his contract at Arsenal than we sold Mane to Bayern Munich for.
Mane wanted to go back to Germany, though. That's where his family is based, isn't it? So that's one of the main reasons.
Do you know what though? And I agree with you guys. I don't think we had any power in that negotiation, right? But and he was going to leave regardless. We were powerless. Yeah. But we have experienced it ourselves, where we try and go for a player, and that player clearly wants to come to us, and we still can't agree something with the club. Do you know what I mean? So I often feel like we're on the other side of the fence, whereby we're like, the player wants us, we want the player, and we're just stumbling over money. And then we see Mane. Maybe slightly different because we had even less so power, but why weren't we so stubborn and like trying to get a bigger and bigger fee? It does make you think a little bit, but I agree with you guys. Mane is probably not a good example because he did want to go. So
you just hit the nail on the head. Like, this has not only been going on since FSG came in. This has been going on since the Moors were in charge of Liverpool. Like, if you think back to when we could have signed Damien Duff, but we twiddled our thumbs. If you think back to when we could have signed Dani Alves, when Rafa obviously was spotting talent, he wanted David Villa, David Silva, Dani Alves.
Those were the two for me, John. Go, because we had the Torres Villa link up. I thought we were going to with Silva. Yeah,
Simão Sambrosa. Like, you can make a whole starting 11 of the players that we've missed out on, just out of us twiddling our thumbs. Do you know what I'm saying? So this has been going on for the longest.
John, can I ask a quick question then? Who do you blame in terms of us not selling players at the right time and not buying the players that we should buy? Are you blaming the owners on this one, or are you blaming Klopp on it?
I blame both, but I think the extra 10% goes to Klopp. And the reason why I say that is because I blame him for a lot of the favoritism he has for certain players. And no one can tell me any different. No one can tell me any different. There's no way Jordan Henderson should be, but to be honest with you, there's no way he should have even signed that new contract. To be honest with you, I'll keep it blood raw. Like, I don't care whether he's the captain or not. No player is bigger than the club. But if you see what he's offering now, like, what is he actually offering? What allowed now from the pitch, bro. Miss me with that, man. Loudmouth on the pitch don't win you trophies.
Just a quick one, guys. What I've noticed as well is when the question get asked about who do you blame, and is it Klopp, is it Pep Linders, is it the owners, we somehow put another person with Klopp. We never go Klopp on his own and blame him. We always go, it's Klopp, but it's also Pep, or it's Klopp, but also the owners, or it's the owners, but it's also Klopp. Why do we never just blame Klopp on his own? I just want to ask the panel this question, and maybe the people in the comments. I've never seen someone just go, it's Klopp. It's his fault. It's always, it's the owners. But it is.
I think Klopp, I definitely hear you. But the thing is, like, again, like, it goes back to that. The reason why I even say the owners and Klopp is, like, again, it's like a match made in heaven. Like, FSG knew. I mean, if you even think back to when, after Brendan got sacked, out of the two managers that were in the running for the Liverpool job, it was Carlo Ancelotti, then Klopp. Obviously, Carlo, I don't know what happened with Carlo. Maybe he saw that obviously the structure of Liverpool at the time, buy to sell, didn't really float his boat. And then probably that's the reason why they chose Klopp, because they knew that obviously he's done that he's been through that structure at Dortmund. So why not bring him in? And he was successful with Dortmund with that structure. So it's like, the reason why I say,
you mean that, Klopp?
Yeah.
No way, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reason why I'll say both of them, because they're equally both as responsible. But for that exact thing that you asked, I'll say that extra 10% does go to Klopp, because favoritism then for me is a nasty trait that he has, and that is proven detriment to obviously the club. So yeah.
Do you know what I sort of blame Klopp with a little bit is that this system that we play, right, unlike other teams a la Man City, our system requires everybody to be 10 out of 10, like performance wise, and they need to be fully motivated, and they almost need to be perfect. And I go back to John's point earlier where we sort of tailed off last season, but we're still in the hunt for 4 trophies. I also felt like Liverpool weren't playing particularly well, but momentum was carrying us a bit, and that brought everyone's levels to kind of above average for them, so to speak. I also think Diaz coming in carried us a hell of a lot as well. I feel like he was a spark that we really lacked last season. But then what you're seeing is, and where I put a bit of blame on Klopp is, why didn't he, working with these players every single day, almost predict or foresee that there would be a drop-off? Like, no one kind of expected quite the drop-off. Like Fabinho, I think, is a standout person this season that I didn't think would be this bad, to be honest. And maybe his actual level somewhat between what we see in last season and this season, that it might be somewhat in between. But why isn't Klopp seeing that these players need to be at their very best to make this system work? And look, when it works, we're like one of the best teams in Europe. But why didn't he see that, you know what, Henderson might not be able to do it next season? I've seen little things in his games or I'm assessing the season just gone and he didn't quite do this right. He didn't quite do this right. I'm looking at the statistics. If this decreases by 10%, then maybe that's not worthwhile and stuff. You know, if maybe he's looking at, you know, I don't know. Everybody was brilliant last season. And I just think maybe it's difficult to assess the drop off, but you still need to. That is part of your, you know, job, and your role is to assess these players. You train them every single day. You've got to kind of foresee this drop off and then plan for it. And I feel like for so long, everyone's been playing so well and it's all been brilliant, but it felt like we really had to work so hard and be perfect to be brilliant. Whereas, like, I look at kind of a team, and it's probably an unfair comparison, but like Man City, and it looks like it's just cruise control for them. Like 90-point season looks like cruise control for them, where it's full throttle for us. Do you see what I'm saying? That's where I would sort of lay a bit of blame on Klopp. I'm like, I see him at the start of the game standing there in the centre circle, looking at the opposition team, trying to work them all out and assess the players. And I'm like, have you not been doing that enough with our players on the training pitch? Because you'd have clearly seen there's a drop off.
You know what? Honestly, yeah, I'll just put my bit in this. All right, Ensman, you asked, you said, like, you don't really hear people saying it's just Klopp or it's just like the in betweens. Yeah, I totally blame Jurgen Klopp. Okay, FSG have their issues, yeah, absolutely. Okay, but it is Jurgen Klopp, because what Cavs was saying there is right. Yeah, he can see all these things, but the reason why Man City are constantly on 99% and stuff like that, yeah, is because they've got in depth in their team. They've got depth in their team, so they're able to drop one or two little players, or you know what, you need a break, mate, you come in, stuff like that, and they keep their flow going. Klopp doesn't like a big squad, and that is the biggest problem. He needs, you know, when he gets a good squad, he gets rid of two players, right? Might not be the greatest players like Origi and Milamino in that sense, but they were vital for us. They got us goals. Do you know what I mean? Now he needs to just, like I've always said, he needs to go to FSG, smash that window, bruvs, throw chairs around in the meeting room. I need players. That's his. He needs to be ambitious, and he's not ambitious enough. And because he's not ambitious enough, we will have issues like this. He's got a team. He's starting 11. Anything else, all right? He's not really interested until when there's injuries. And when there's injuries, and he brings one of these others, okay, it just doesn't connect. The puzzle, you know, the jigsaw doesn't work. And for me, it is completely his fault. FSG do put money in. Yes, we know they don't put a lot of money in compared to the other teams and whatnot, yeah, but they do fork out millions. You just need someone to be saying, yo, you know, anyone in this panel right now who is a Liverpool fan, who loves Liverpool, if your job is on the line or your team are not doing well and you can see certain things, yeah, you know, you would be going upstairs and saying, yo, I need better, and I need money, or I need, better equipment. If you're just working, these are the things that make you, and he doesn't do that enough for me. So, but I completely get everyone's points, but that's just my piece on it. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think he's seen it though, Baz? Do you think he generally seen that these players can't go at the level they were at this season?
He's got to. Cav.
No, he
Yeah.
can't. He won't because he's a manager, not a coach.
What
So
we got?
he won't see it.
Yeah.
He's not a coach, bro.
I'll tell you
Sorry,
why
go
he
on,
does
Jamie.
see it.
Hang on a minute, guys. Hang on a minute. I'll go to let John go. It's got a people waiting. John, always
Okay.
Big up, John. Some great
Big up,
points,
John,
mate.
bro.
Thank you.
my man. Don't be a
Love,
stranger.
love.
Yeah. See you soon, my man.
No, we'll do.
See
Big
you
up.
there, bro.
Love, much love. Let me just read these super chats out, but honestly as well, 'cause, he sent these a while ago, and then I got Cal's Nettle Army here come on, which if you know Cal's Nettle Army, he has got some things to say about Klopp. Don't you worry about that. And
He
FSG.
does.
And FSG.
Yeah.
Let me just read these out. Where am I on my comments? There you go. Start. So apparently Virgil might be out free for 2 weeks or 6 weeks of a hamstring injury. No one knows. No one knows. Like Klopp said after the game, he wasn't even injured. The day after, it's a hamstring. Yesterday,
Hamstring's normally 4 weeks minimum.
yesterday, and then today you hear he might not make the first leg for Real Madrid. So I would say you're not seeing him until the end of February. And also another super chat. Big up, my friend. You did have to send two. One's plenty, my friend, but thank you very much. And imagine if Matip also get injured, which can happen. Yeah, we've got to be.
Joey G.
Nathaniel Phillips has to play games, guys. Nathaniel Phillips has to go. Right, I'm going to bring Kel's Nettle Army in. He's not, you might hear him on Coppish before. I think he's been on the Sam's on This in Football, but he's never been on here before. But bring up Kel's Nettle Army. How you doing, my man?
Big up.
I'm doing very well, man, Jamie.
Big up.
Listen, we've known each other for quite a while through the Coppish community, man. You're big up to you, man. This is my first time coming on the channel.
Big up,
I do watch your channel quite regularly as well. Only speak facts. So yeah, man, big up to everybody in the panel, big up to everybody in the chat, and yeah, let's get
Big
into
up,
the
bro.
crooks and nicks and crannies of this, man.
Right, Cal. I know you've got things to say, so I'm going to let you unleash. Go for it.
No, it's just
I know you're right, man. I know you got things. I know
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got things. Go on.
the issues of Liverpool currently could all have been avoided if Jurgen Klopp was either less sentimental or if we had owners who were a bit more ambitious. I think that's the perfect answer to the conundrum that we have currently at Liverpool Football Club. And the issues that we have at this moment in time are, I think, bigger than a midfielder. It's a systematic issue. The things that we're seeing on the football pitch do not, in my opinion, do not reflect the players going out there. I don't think a Thiago is terrible. I don't think Harvey Elliott, granted he's not a central midfielder, I don't think Harvey Elliott would be looking as bad as he is currently if there wasn't the system issue with the right-sided central midfielder having to cover Trent, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, Elliott's taking up the same positions that Salah picks up because he's a natural winger. He's not a natural right-sided central midfielder. Again, centre backs, we're doing the high line, and obviously everybody's here. Hopefully, everybody's here play football. If you're playing football with a team that's playing high line, season in season out, doing the sprints, recovering the ball, sooner rather than later, you are gonna get muscle injuries. It's just the unfortunate truth of that. And the attackers, I mean, the one thing that I will say is that I don't think attack's been our issue this season. If I'm not mistaken, we're the third highest goal scorers in the Premier League this season. Obviously, the Bournemouth game where we scored 9 probably inflated that issue. Yeah. But I think the biggest issue right now is not even a transfer issue. It's a system issue. The players that Klopp currently has cannot play 4-3-3. If we play 4-3-3 from now to the end of the season without signing a central midfielder, we are not getting top 6. We are not getting top 6 because every single midfielder in the Premier League from now to the end of the season, unless their name is Bournemouth Football Club, we are not dominating any midfield. You could bring West Ham into the conversation. You could bring Brentford again. You can bring Crystal Palace. No matter who we play, I'm talking about just Premier League opponents, except for Bournemouth, we are going to get dominated by every single midfield. Every single one. 4-3-3 cannot happen again. Klopp, you are supposedly an elite manager. You are supposedly an elite coach or whatever it is. You need to change this formation. if we carry on playing the 4-3-3 with the system that it currently is, without signing a central midfielder, there's going to be issues. Because I'm just looking at it right now, guys. I don't know if you guys have a difference of opinion, but if I'm looking at it right now objectively, and I look past our last 17 games, there's only one game where I can sit there and say, yeah, Liverpool's midfield dominated the opposition's midfield, and that was the 9-0 against Bournemouth. I look at every other game, the West Ham 1-0. The second half was dire. It was absolutely dire. We got overrun again. Crystal Palace, the second game of the season, our midfield couldn't do anything to theirs. Then you have Fulham, the first game of the season. Our midfield got bodied by theirs. I think it was Nice's Cabana. He absolutely had Henderson for toast. Now, I'm not going to turn this into Henderson slander, but I'm just saying it's just the midfield on midfield crime. It's just, I look at our midfield and it's Leicester City, guys. Come on. Leicester City are one of the worst performing teams in the Premier League. Did anybody see what Newcastle did to them at their own ground a few days before they played us?
Yeah.
They came to our ground and we let Shrewsbury Hall. That sounds like a wedding venue. Shrewsbury Hall come to our ground and just run past us like we're not even footballers. And listen, if it wasn't for David Luiz, we would have lost that game. Because if I'm not mistaken, we didn't even have a shot on target. I mean, the issues are there for everybody to see. 4-3-3 cannot be a formation that we consist with. We just can't. I don't know if you guys agree with that or disagree, but 4-3-3, man, that's the biggest issue for me. Forget about signing a central midfielder. The system's broken. Just change it, please. That's my opinion.
Cal, always. Great points. We're going to break all that up. My man, talk about that because you've made some valid points there, my friend, as always. And yeah, when I do these call-in shows more in the future, my man, make sure you're not a stranger, yeah?
Yeah, no, 100%, man. 100%.
Big up to you, my man. Big up to you. Big
up. I see one person in the chat trying to tell me, go say Klopper. Listen, I'm not gonna. I'm not. Listen, I already am in it, but I'm just gonna keep that on the down low.
Everyone knows where Cal lies.
Cal, before you go, Cal, who do you blame more, Klopp or the owners? And you can't say both.
You've got him on topic now.
Ends, big up to you. Listen. If you want a serious answer,
yeah,
I would lean towards the owners, and the only reason why I would lean towards the owners more than Klopp is because the owners are the people that set the standard of a football club. Mm-hmm. I know the manager can dictate stuff to a certain level, but at the end of the day, the owners dictate to a manager what your ambitions are, and if the ambitions from the top is just get a top 4, sooner or later the manager may lose ambition. But the reason why I'm not letting Klopp go is because I know these owners, for me, are mid-table level. For me, Jurgen Klopp, I'm holding him to an elite standard. And if I'm holding him to an elite standard, that is where I sit there and say, not only have you performed badly in your job this season, if you are Real Madrid, if you are Barcelona, if you are any other elite, so-called elite club, I don't think he's surviving through the season based on the performance he's having and some of the stuff that he's saying in press conferences. That's my personal opinion. But obviously, I blame FSG more, 100%.
Big up, Cal. We'll chat soon, man. We'll chat soon.
Cheers, man.
Big up, man. Big up.
Cal, look, he makes some points there, man. Look, Cal, if you watch Coppish and stuff like that, everyone knows Cal in that army, and he's never gone. He's always spoke like this. This has been the points he's always been making before and stuff. So, he's never gone against what he's saying now. But yeah, big up, Cal. Big up, Cal. I'm just going to kick you out the studio, Cal, so we can just get more people in. Big up to you, man. Big up to you. Big up to you. Let's bring John in. John can just stay. Probably asleep anyway.
Hey.
My legs.
But look, Cal's not. There is issues. There is issues, especially with the coaches at the moment, the players we're playing. We've been saying this all week that, we've got players in this team. I think Cav has said this as well, that should be doing better than what we're doing right now. You look at all the players. Look, Newcastle have got a decent side. Yeah, there's not many players I'd want from Newcastle's first 11 right now into our first 11, though. If I was going to go down the order, who would there be? Probably Botman, maybe. I don't know much else. Probably Bruno Guimaraes. You know, is that about it? Probably.
The maximum I'll take as well, bro.
I've been always funny on St. Mac. As far as I look at it, Newcastle look better when he don't play. So I don't know if that's I've never been big on St. Maximum, but I've been saying that for about since he's been in the Premier League. Just saying about him. Joel Linton, maybe. I mean, he's roided up now, so maybe I'll take a roided up Joel Linton. But you know what I mean? There's players we got in our squad that I think Klopp could get better out of, and his coaching staff as well, because they are part of his team on a daily, training them. I think they could come up with a game plan and a situation that suits the players better than what we got right now and doesn't make them look so bad. I don't know if you guys agree with that as well.
Do you know what? I've had this conversation in many ways before, but just another way I'll put it, right? For me this season, I thought Liverpool could win the league. Okay, because I looked at the players that we had, and I looked at the state of our squad and the management and everything, right? And I thought we could win the league. So, I think the reason, and I said this, I'd accept second place because you're up against the beast in Man City, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what we've experienced. Even if we're in the top four, that's football. Sometimes it might happen, right? You might have a bit of bad form, injuries might play a bit of a part or whatever. But to finish sixth, to me, illustrates bad management, bad tactics, and bad coaching, right? And that in then turn means that the players are not motivated or whatever, right? So I put the performance this season down to coaching and tactics, right? Not FSG. Where I would then begin to blame FSG if the decline continued. So if Liverpool went from like winning the Premier League to then a season maybe finishing second, third, to then second, third again the following season, to then fourth, to then seventh, to then eighth, I could be like, it's FSG. I could see people's reasoning with FSG because that's a decline over so many years because of lack of investment. But to go from finishing second on 90+ point season to finishing sixth, that for me is not FSG. I get they play a part because one or two signings would have helped. But look at the squad. I go back to it, you know, as soon as says going second 90+ seasons to sixth. That's just bad. That's just bad tactics. That's just not setting up for the season and the games properly. And that does come down to Klopp. And what Ends won't like to hear this, but it is Linda's as well. It's the whole coaching team. They are a team. But Klopp sits at the top of that tree. So he's the guy we've got to look at and go, look, you manage these guys. You're in charge of these guys. And I'm laying blame at all of them, which ultimately means I'm laying blame at you. And you've got to take the heat for them. You've got to take the rap for them ultimately. So I think this season, Klopp, for that reason, is to blame for where we are. But when people talk about, is he still the right man for the job and this and that, and I said it, he said he's working on he's cashing in his chips at the minute for me. He's cashing in that credit he's got. But I'm not talking about what he's won with us. Okay, I'm not saying, because he won the Premier and he won the Champions League, that he deserves it. No, where I'm at with it is that Klopp's shown me that he has the ability, both the coaching and the tactical and the management skills, some better than others in that respect, to win a Premier League. So when I'm thinking about it now, if this is genuinely the standard and the state of our squad finishing sixth, who would I want in charge to get us back to the top in world football? And I'm like, well, I'd want Klopp, because there's evidence there, not only at our club, that this is a guy that knows football well enough to get to that level. So that for me is how I think people kind of miss that point when we say like he's working on credit and stuff at the minute, and that people are sticking with him out of loyalty. No. I'm not sticking with him out of loyalty for what he's done, so to speak. I'm sticking with him because I think he's good enough to get back to there. I think he's had, much like players do, bad form. I think he's had bad form this season, but I still think he's a top quality coach, and I think he'll get back to being top quality, and then we'll see us rise up the table. So that's just my take on it.
Him and his staff are not doing a good job right now, and there's too many people. Unfortunately, the way everything is at the moment, like all the callers have been saying, the fan base is so split at the moment that, you know, if you dare to say anything about Klopp, you're a Klopp out person straight away. You know, you can't say anything negative about the man, and it's silly. It's silly. Look, him and his coaching staff are not doing a good job right now. They're really not. And
because what you're saying,
FSG are not doing a good job right now. They're not doing a good. Yeah. Everyone in the club is shit. Carroll's burning the toast, and everyone else is crap. So you know, so like if that's the case, everyone should be allowed to have their say against anyone at our football club. No one is on a pedestal so high you cannot have you can't see a wrong in what they're doing. Everyone's got the right, but it doesn't mean if like Cav, me, or anyone like that is saying about Klopp right now and his team, doesn't mean we want them gone. You know, if you've still got FSG as your owners, who the fuck are you actually going to get in as manager if it ain't Jurgen Klopp under the restrictions that FSG working? Do you know what I mean? Do you want a Pochettino? Because that's the only one. You know what I mean?
Play some decent football though.
Yeah, but what are you doing there though? Like, look at this. Look at this.
Let me just read the super chat out first.
Yeah, go ahead,
off topic. Rest in peace to drifting legend Ken Block. Yeah, big up Ken Block. I know it was the other day passed away, wasn't it? I think I remember our first ever time I saw him. I think it was on Top Gear years ago when he was on with Richard Hammond and Jeremy Clarkson and all that, and he was doing stunts and all that. But yeah, big up to the legend that is Ken Block. But go on.
No, I was just going to say, you know, like you talk about Pochettino, who else could you get in? But like at this moment in time, I know Klopp's not been good, and like I say, I do blame this season on Klopp, but who would you want to get us back to that spot? Who do you trust the most? And the answer is Klopp. He's the problem. He's also the solution. So when people say Klopp out, I just want to say, just ask yourself the question. I get he's not been good, right? I get he's not been great this season, and he is the reason we are where we are, right? But he is also the guy that got us there. And which guy? If you're saying you want Klopp out, you're thinking that there's someone better to come in, and I don't think there is someone better to come in. So unless you've got a name, it's pointless saying Klopp out. Unless you've got somebody that you certified believe, if he came in, he could do better with this, and this. I don't think there's a better manager out there that can. I just think Klopp's poor at the minute. Like, and as I know the chat said, how can a manager be poor? But I think it's true. I think he'll get it together at some point. I'm not thinking we win anything this season, but I do think at some point in the season we will figure it out. I think we will get back to playing well, and I think that'll be partly down to Klopp, or largely down to Klopp.
Yeah, guys, let me show you this, right? Let me show you this. So this came up today. This is how we could with obviously when Virgil's fit, but this is how our first 11 could line up. Alisson, Van Dijk, Konate, Trent, Robbo, Fabinho, Hendo, Thiago, Salah, Darwin, and Gakpo. Right, if Virgil was fit, I think this might have come out just before Virgil got injured, but that 11 right there should not be sixth in the Premier League, should it?
Yeah, with that midfield, yeah.
Do you think that should be sixth in the Premier League, that team?
Not with the team, but the midfield. That's where you win and lose games from.
But if Klopp played in a different way and didn't play the higher press and the higher line, that midfield would look a lot better.
You could sell me on that.
I disagree with you, man. I look at that midfield and maybe I need to wake up a little bit. I look at them three names and I'm like, I still think that's a good midfield.
But that's the thing, though, Kev. We can't look at names. We got to look at what they actually contribute on the pitch.
I know, man, but like Fabinho, everyone's saying he's been bad for years, but I don't think he has. Right, I don't think Thiago's been bad for a long time. Henderson, he's formed dips and stuff, but right. I look at that midfield and I just think I don't look at it as being dead.
All right, Kev, put it this way: when was the last time Henderson got an assist?
Do you know what though?
You
put a beautiful ball over the top for Salah the other day.
All right, when was the last time Thiago got an assist in the midfield?
Did you not see the grass cutter goal the other year?
Bro.
Yeah, I hear you.
That was how long ago?
Listen, we need players in the midfield that's going to score goals and make assists or create chances, like clear-cut chances. We can't just keep running with these sentimental values and because Henderson runs. Sorry, Savage, but Henderson runs around and shouts at everyone, and then that's what we need. Nah, bro, we need players in there that's going to run for a team and create chances and just be a havoc in that midfield with high-octane energy. We can't just have man just running around shouting. Fabinho is not the player he used to be, but I get the last couple of games he's been okay, so I'm not going to knock him on that. Started seeing some things from him turning in midfield, driving forward, but other than that, bro. And then Thiago, I love Thiago to bits, but he's too far ahead of the other players in midfield. The things that he wants to do and try, the rest of the guys in midfield aren't capable of doing. So there's sometimes I see him lay the ball off to get 1-2s. Guys are so nervous around him with the ball. I saw him lay one off to Flacco, and Flacco played it into Tsimikas, and Tsimikas was like, I didn't even want the ball. But that's because Thiago is playing neat and tidy football, and the rest of them are too slow. They're not thinking quickly enough. So
they're not on his level.
They're not on his level, bro. He's way too far ahead of these guys in midfield.
He is, but I also think if I don't know how, but if the players were just in better form, you wouldn't. I don't think you'd be sitting there thinking that. I just think everyone's poor at the minute, and I blanket that statement across all the players. But even Thiago's poor form is still like such a level above everybody. Thiago can't fall as low as everybody else is falling. That's the difference.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we just need top midfielders, that
which
quality.
is why we need better midfielders that even if they're not playing on their, at their greatest, I mean, they can still do the job.
Maybe I'm doing the Klopp thing right, but I'm just thinking because I don't know statistics wise and things this and that, and I'm probably dead wrong, but I'm just thinking about the games, and I'm just thinking, when the opposition have the ball, if maybe we didn't press quite so soon, if Thiago didn't go beyond the forwards to press on his own, if the forwards tucked in a little bit and pushed the opposition out to the fullbacks and make them attack like in a normal game, but we kind of present opportunities by this rash, off-timed press, and then you are going to get exposed. You are going to get exposed in midfielders, but I feel like if we just in-game just tweak things slightly, and I alluded to some points earlier about don't press the keeper, don't press the fullbacks, just let them come on to us. I'm not saying to park the bus, but maybe when they get close to the halfway line, then you engage as a team. You set traps better. You don't from corners, you maybe leave an extra man back for a few games until you nullify opposition's counter-attacking you. Maybe from goal kicks, you look to just keep the goal kicks from kickoff. You keep the ball for 5 minutes instead of launching it and getting straight into a game where people aren't set, not ready. They should have warmed up, but they're not really got a feel for the ball yet. There's things in game I think you can do with this team to make them more compact, right? And it might have an opposite effect on the attack. But as a team, you become more of a unit, because when you replace a manager, that's all the first manager does. He comes in, he goes back to basics, and he makes you compact, stop conceding goals. That's what a new manager would do going into a club. I feel like we need to take that kind of approach slightly. And then suddenly you'll be looking at Fabinho going, he's not running 40 yards to make a challenge. He's running 10, he's running 20. And when he gets there, he's also got Salah beside him instead of Salah cheating and staying up top. He's also got Trent in position. And before you know it, everybody looks better because they're working as a unit, as a team. I feel like at the minute we're asking these players to do things, and the system is just completely exposing them. And I just think it's partly because there's been a decline in performance and maybe aging legs, tired legs. That's probably true. I just think it's poor form. I don't think there's much confidence in this squad that what they're being asked to do is so elite that when you don't quite achieve that eliteness and then you get exposed, it just settles in. I feel like this team at the minute, even when their goals ahead, they're not confident in themselves at all, because they're like, naturally we want to sit back and kind of concede, but we're still being asked to go press, and that man's not pressing. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go and press myself, and then you're leaving gaping holes behind you. And it's not team thinking that's going on. It's individual thinking. So that's why I do. That's why I do think this midfield, they've still got, I'm not going to write them off and say they're fully dead. I just think they're being exposed too much.
Yeah, I don't believe they're fully dead, man. But at the same time, you know what I mean? They're humans at the end of the day. They're not machines. They're just playing too much games. They're playing too much games. You need to freshen things up. Every season, people do that. They freshen things up. They're not doing that at the moment. You know what I mean? In midfield, and that's where games are won and lost. You need decent quality, at least decent quality, not mediocre. You just like decent quality players that can step in. It gives people breaks. You look at what's his name, Robbo. Yeah, he wasn't great this season in the beginning. He had to have an injury, okay, and then he come back and he had a little bit more. Fabinho is playing a little bit better now, yeah, but in the beginning of the season he was shocking. He needed a break. You know what I mean? Players need breaks, and I think this team is not a dead team. Definitely not a dead team. Yes, you do need to bring quality. Every season you've got to bring quality, and you know what I mean? But he is just the team is tired. It's tired. And when you've got old legs as well, like aging legs, you need that rest. You can't keep playing them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's got a super chat here. He said something like that. I think Klopp and the players are deflated after coming close to writing history, and maybe all of them are like, we can't be us this season. Maybe it's me, though. I mean, that is fair. I mean, that's a fair assumption. It was a short pre-season straight off it. And big up another super chat. Big up my man, superstar. Why are we backing for Matheus Nunez? Why didn't we just buy him last season on the Sporting? That's something I have a problem understanding. I don't know. I don't think you're the only one there. It smells of the Mascherano and Tevez situation. Does everyone remember that? When Mascherano and Tevez, their agent sent them to West Ham, didn't they? In that time, and in the January, the following summer, was it Tevez went to Man United, and Mascherano went to. No, Liverpool bought Mascherano in the January, didn't they? I can't remember.
January.
And Tevez stayed. Tevez stayed, became a cult hero because he got the goal that kept him up, and then went to Man United, didn't he? And it was just it smells of that to me. I think Liverpool weren't sure on him. Liverpool wanted him. Klopp weren't sure on him. They sent him to Wolves, where now they're like, you know what, he would be a good player for us. And they're going to go back in. By the look of it, that deal is all but sort of done. What I've been told, that deal was almost sort of done. It's a very easy deal to be done. So that also tells me there's no Jude Bellingham. Because if he's coming in,
just loan him.
Because you can't register him.
No. I mean, like previously, obviously where he was before. They could have loaned him and see, with an option to buy.
Could have, definitely. Big up Mrs. Sinclair as well in super chat. I'm judging Klopp under a different ownership under a bigger budget. If Millie is still playing left back, I'll buy it. It's Klopp's not the ownership. Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. Everyone's got their different takes on it at the moment. My take is on it. You're savage. The source.
Man, so you're trying to share that one.
I literally can't say. Let me put it this way: he's on another channel right now. Right.
What channel?
That's all I'm saying.
It's got to be John. It's got to be John Glasgow, man.
I'm not going to say. I'll tell you after. Another super chat. Honestly, blimey hell, thank you very much, my man. I do appreciate. Would you guys replace Naby for Ruben Neves? Look. So with Naby, so Naby ain't in training today, anyway, is he? Naby's not in training today, or weren't seen in training. So these weren't seen in training stuff. Sometimes it's their day off. You remember when Thiago weren't in training, and it was just one of his days, because Klopp gives players certain days off in the week, don't they? Especially the injury-prone players. But the problem with the Naby Keita thing, I've heard nothing come out yet, unless you guys have heard anything. But there a certain Bayer Leverkusen have come in for him, ain't they? So if Bayer Leverkusen apparently come in for him, and he was missing in training today, so I don't know if it's because there's talks with them as a club, because he can sign a pre-contract deal now. So I don't know if there's talks with that happening. I'm not sure, but look, Ruben Neves, another good player. My problem is, guys, and I put this to you, I don't know what sort of system Klopp's changing to. See, last system we played a way of, short passing, trying to keep retaining possession a lot of the time. Quite boring to watch at times, but it took us to Champions League final, the last day of the Premier League. I mean, we were winning that Premier League if it weren't for Aston Villa giving it up in the last 5 minutes. We won the FA Cup and League Cup. We went the whole way playing that sort of football, and then at the start of this season, we completely changed again. Like, it's not the same set up as it was last season. We look like we've gone into a long ball team now because of Darwin up top. It looks like we're just playing hoofball, long ball, winning nothing in the middle of the park. Because we play high up, we're getting broke upon, and we're very easy to play against because of it. So I don't know about you. I just imagine that, or have we played? Are we playing a different way to last season, Kev?
I think the long ball things just come out of confidence. When you have confidence on the ball and you're in form, you keep it and you move it better, and you play 1-2s and you trust your teammates, and you'll probably pass them to the ball to your teammate when it's under a bit of pressure, knowing that he'll give it you back, or he'll wriggle out of it, and you'll progress as a team. And that's where you see better football. You know, even in games, you're not even form over across a season or a few games. You see it with teams when they get a bit of momentum. Don't matter who they are in the league, but if they have a 10-minute spell where they're like off the back of just scoring or something, then they start playing like prime Barcelona football. You know, it's all confidence. Liverpool don't have a lot of confidence in what they're doing at the minute. And it's easy when you have a guy like Nunez who's always on the shoulder of the defense, almost, body shapes asking for the ball, willing to run. It's easy just to go and hoof it straight up to him, because you're just like, well, it's out of my feet then. It's away from me. I'm free. Can take a breather for a second, So I think the long ball things come out of confidence, really. Is that John?
I don't know if that's a sneeze or he's saying get in. But yeah, what you said.
Man said he win 1-0. Get in.
All right. We celebrate more than you do for Liverpool. But yeah, what you were saying.
Hey, now, go ahead.
I think what you said, Cav. I think it's the fact that we don't have actual creative players in that middle of the park, so that's why we look like a long ball team. We're trying to bypass the midfield by going long from the back all the time, and I think Henderson is the only. There's some simple passes I see on the pitch sometimes, and the guys are just not even attempting or have the confidence to play those kind of passes. And the only person that can do that in the team is Thiago, but he plays further back in our midfield. The other thing I wanted to touch on, I just feel with Klopp and the fan base, even in the stadium, because obviously every time we go into the stadium, we start off singing at the start, and then within 5 minutes it's quiet. And I think Klopp is, I don't know, he had that bond where he could bring in the fans when he knows we need them as a team. But at the moment, it's like he's not doing that part. And we saw that in the back end of last season. He was trying to get the fans back on board when we was trying to push for all trophies. And I think this season, we haven't seen enough of that. I think when we go into the game, he needs to be the old Klopp where he's riling up the fans and getting the fans on board when it's too quiet in the stadium. Like telling the fans that we need you to go and take these teams on. So I think that's one of the reasons as well, man. Because we're not.
Why do you think he's not been doing that?
I think he's too much in his feelings, man. I think he's just way too much in his feelings at the moment. Those are the things that allowed us to kind of push past most teams. It wasn't the quality sometimes. It was the fact, the energy that we got from the stadium. And then that passed on to the players onto the pitch, and then saw the manager on the sideline. A lot of the players talked about it. They said, we look over and Klopp's having a go at the other manager, or he's having a go at the other fans, and he's winding up our fan. And then we just absorb that energy and then just put it back on the pitch. And that's how we gain a lot of our performances. We need to have that back.
Do you think, right, because I believe that Liverpool are, out of any team in certainly the Premier League, maybe Europe, they harness and work off momentum more than any other team, right? And I feel like that momentum has really carried us over the line, especially last season. Touched upon it earlier when John was on. Do you think that we kind of start the season thinking we've got the quality, we'll be all right, like it's nice, sunny, 3 o'clock kickoffs, half 12 kickoffs, it's cool, we go about our business. And then when we get to the latter stages, nighttime kickoffs in Champions Leagues, and then suddenly if you're in a title run, cup run towards the second half of the season, you're like, well, that's the target's in sight now. I can almost see it. And the players lift. I feel like this season, the start's been so bad, literally from Fulham, where it's like that first blow was almost hit. And then because they're like, all the players and Klopp, I believe, are just kind of feeling sorry for themselves. Injuries are hit. They've got an excuse going into every game weekend because they're like, oh, we thought this was the lineup on Wednesday. We get to Friday, such and such is out. Now I've got to play with a different guy in front of me and this and that. They've already gone into games with excuses, maybe not consciously, but maybe subconsciously, they already know that they've had a bad result and they feel the pressure to get another good result. And I do feel like this is where I think the second half of the season will turn around, is because the games are going to start to run out in the Premier League, and really you're going to get to a point, I think, with 10 games to go where they're like, look, we need to win 9 of these if we're going to get top 4. We have to do it now. We literally have to do it. Whereas I still feel like they're probably looking at things going, maybe, I don't know, I'm just speculating, but maybe looking at it going, there's still 20 games. Anything can happen. And that sometimes doesn't motivate you.
No, you're right. You're right. But I still, exactly what you said, you're definitely right about it. I just feel that it's better now than later. I think if we carry on waiting to like the last 10 games, man, we might not even be able to catch any of the other teams. So
and that's the worry. Yeah,
we need to kind of change the system up to something that's going to be a bit more on a counter-attacking side. And I feel that Klopp needs to get the fans on board in the stadium now. We need to be so hard to play against again. The fans just need to be singing throughout the whole game. We need to get someone with a damn microphone in the stadium. Or do something, get the flares back out, man. Do something where the away team comes to Anfield and they're like, oh my days, we got to play. Now everyone's looking forward to it. They come in taking pictures of the changing room. They're out on the field taking picture around the stadium. You're like, nah, bro. When you came to Anfield before, you're in the changing room and all you can hear is the echoing from the walls because the fans are out there singing.
Yeah.
So when he steps on the pitch, you just feel heavy as an away fan. As a player, just heavy leg.
You're 100% right, James. But then the fans aren't going to be shouting and cheering if the players on the pitch don't give them anything to shout and cheer about.
Nah, man.
No. You know what? Listen, Ensman and Cav, you're absolutely bang on, all right? But there's a reason why these fans are not doing this. Why are they not doing it? This is a team that were going to win 4 cups last season, all right? Why? The question is, all right, it's quite deeper than that. Why is that? Why are they not doing that? Because fans don't just switch off like that. We were one of the best teams in the world last year, and certainly in our league. Why are they not doing this no more? Something's happened, and what's happened is literally they're not backing Klopp like they were before. You know, he still does his fist pumps and he still tries to motivate the fans. The fans are not on it at the moment. Some of them. Anfield's been so quiet this season. It's like the bloody library. It's like it's like Arsenal's ground, a few years back. Why is this not happening?
I think you look. I'll go back to my point, guys.
What are you cheering about this season?
John.
What are you getting
this season?
1 second,
this
John.
season, no, but I can't take that mindset, because as fans, I've got to recognise what this team have done for us for the past 4 or 5 years. What Klopp's done for us 4 or 5 years. If you're going off the first 10 games and going to Anfield feeling, oh yeah, sorry for myself, I'm not going to. Not that they think this, but I feel like you owe it to the team. If you're privileged enough to go to Anfield and get a seat, there's fucking millions of other people that would want to be there as well. You're not happy with the result last week. Don't matter. Look, they're the same players that won as a Premier League title. They're the same players that won as a Champions League. Like, look at how hard they had to work for them. Like, why don't we look at ourselves? If you happen to be going to the game, look at yourself and go, you know what? I know that I need some inspiration from the pitch, but look, you can't change what's happening on the pitch. So look at yourself and make something happen.
Cav, you know what it is, all right? I don't think it's the players that they adore the players, man. You know what I mean? A lot of us, we look at players. We look at Origi. He's done barely anything for us in his whole career. However, he scored important goals of recent times. Yeah, they love him. Is he Salah quality? Absolutely not. But when he comes on, they love Divock because he's done stuff. But you know what it is? I think a lot of it is actually Klopp, because he's so stubborn in the way he is. Yes, he's tried like a few different changes this season and stuff like that, different tactics and different formations and stuff like that. But why is he doing this? Why has Klopp changed these things? Because it's not working for him, and only recently he's become a little bit less stubborn. And I think that's what the problem is. Generally, they're looking at it thinking, yeah, this is a brilliant team. It's a good team, yeah. But why is it not working? Is it Klopp? Is it owners? Is it, everyone's just questioning everything at the moment, and it's really showing at Anfield. At Anfield, when we have our fans, for sure, you know what I mean, when we're playing in Champions League nights or we're playing in the 3 o'clock kickoffs and whatever times of the day, yeah, fans are up for it. Fans are not up for it right now. It's because I don't think it's just just the team that's playing poor or whatever it is, or the players are playing poor. They're looking a little bit deeper in this. When you're at the stadium, and especially if you're there week in, week out as season ticket holders, those are the fans that actually, you know what I mean? They actually see what's going on. They're there every day. I mean, every home game and whatnot. Whereas other fans that come in, like get tickets, they're just happy to be at Liverpool because it's probably one of their dreams, or they just want to see the team. So I think
grounds in general.
Let me just read these super chats out. Honestly, again with the big super chat, my man. Question for the panel: would you rather Trent becoming a defensive, more solid defender that wouldn't impact the game with an assist, or would you guys prefer Trent playing the way he is now?
The way he is right now.
Firstly, I've always said it. Trent will win us more games than he will lose us games if you put him in the right position with his technical ability going forward. No one asked these questions since he's been. It's just really been this season, the end of last season, where Liverpool were not, the players that play in midfield couldn't do the job they once did under Jurgen Klopp in the system he wants to play. So Trent became more, exposed, as did a lot of the defenders in our team. But Trent gets most of the brunt of it. But as I keep saying, you get Trent further up the pitch and let him do what he wants. That creativity side of his game. He's got look. And the thing with Trent is he might not. I don't think Trent gets enough plaudits for this. Trent is fucking great on his left foot.
Yeah, he's decent.
Fantastic on his left foot. You don't get enough credit for it, man. He's tremendous on his weak foot.
Yeah,
getting further up the pitch as a right back, so the whole game's in front of him. None of this in midfield stuff. Trent is best at right back because he's got the game in front of him. No, that's where you want him. You don't want him stuck in midfield where he's got players behind him, beside him, and in front of him, and you don't want him in that position. But yeah, your question, me personally, the way he is now. Cav, you said the way. It's the way.
I think at the start of the season, we tried to because Trent had such a good season last season, and he got so much ability. I generally think under instruction at the start of the season, Klopp said, get into more. You dominate the right side of the pitch, right, from deep and up near the 18-yard box. Actually, try to get more central and get involved more in the midfield and in the number 10 position as well, because you're so good. But I think that decision backfired, to be honest. I think he was then getting caught out of the pitch, and obviously not being able to get back in time and not wanting to get back and things like that. I think we kind of we put too much on him, to be honest, because of the ability he has. And I think now it's nice to see that we've reined it in a little bit. Past few games, he's playing more in a right back position, which he can do enough damage from anyway.
Yeah. Do you know what, Cav? All right.
Let him answer it as well.
Yeah, man. I want him to play more as a wing back, in my opinion. But will that happen? I don't think it will. But yeah, just get him more further forward up the pitch, man, and he'll create chances for us to score all day long.
Thanks,
Baz.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, look, at the end of the day, yeah, he's better playing forwardly, you know what I mean? And he's vitally important for Liverpool, because with no assists, the team struggles. But I think what's let him down this season, right, is Hendo's form. Because obviously Hendo is that security for him, and he's been in the team, out the team, on form, off form. It's really exposed him. It's really showed that, if there's no one that can back him, he can't go and do his things. And then he's now having to come back and, defend. You know what I mean?
John, your opinion, your answer?
I think Trent is fine where he is. Is he the best defensive player? Probably not. But like you said, Jimmy, he's going to win us more games he loses. So why try to change a great player? It was only the last season people were talking about this player being the best right back in the world, and now all of a sudden people are saying he's one of the worst.
Yeah,
really.
Great point. Great point, my man. Great points all round. Look, guys, I've got this last super chat, and then we're going to have to call it a day. Big up to everyone. I do appreciate all the callers today and everything. I might try and make this a more Thursday night thing as a call-in show. Obviously, I didn't know the football was on tonight. I totally forgot about it. But we've had loads of people in, no matter with the football one, so it has been a success. So if you guys are up for it, being on the panel on that Thursday night, so I might make this a more regular thing. So, yeah, go I really enjoyed tonight. Honesty again with the suit. Honesty's been the man. He'll have to sponsor the next show. Big up Honesty. I'll put him up on the next show. No, I'm not having no Lord Origi slander. The reason Belgium didn't win the World Cup was Lord Origi wasn't there. There you go. That is the last word of the day. No Origi slander, guys.
Hopefully not Origi slander. He's a brilliant, listen, legend, absolute legend.
Love him.
I miss Origi. I miss Origi.
But guys, big up to everyone. Thank you for all my callers today. We really do appreciate it. Big up to the panel as well, Cav, Enz, John, and Baz. Thank you very much for joining me as always,
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Guys, I'll be back tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 with the Liverpool Wolves preview. We're going to preview how Wolves are going to beat Liverpool on Saturday afternoon. So, we're going to try and pick the team, see what we can talk about it. So, yeah, guys, make sure you go and like that video right now. When I end this video, guys, you'll be taken straight to that video, so you don't have to move. Please leave a like on that video straight away. I'll be there. Yeah, no more 10:30 in the morning jobs. That was a one only. It'll be 12:30. Big up to everyone. Oh no, let's play this on the way out. Let's just play a bit. Let's play a tune on the way out.